Welcome back to the Tool Crib. In our last video, we were in the process of building, or the first stages of building, the Leatherman Super Surge. And what we've done so far is we've got both the drivers on the same side, reprofiled the large driver, reprofiled the bit exchanger in order to accommodate the right amount of spacer washers so that everything operates nice and smoothly. Really happy with how this turned out. Now for the opposite side, I need to move this tool over here, and we're going to be making this side to accommodate 4 different tools. Now one thing that I'm definitely going to put in here is going to be a package opener. Now originally I was going to take a donor screwdriver and I was just going to build it completely fresh, completely new. But my thought now is that I'm going to be taking this and adding it into the bit exchanger, which I think is going to work really, really well. Now I've had a lot of suggestions that I could just reprofile the front tip of the combination tool, and that's a very good suggestion. The problem is I actually use that tip. I find it works really, really well out on the job site when you work around just anything. Gearboxes, motors, your hands get greasy, oily. It just makes it an exceptionally good fingernail cleaner, and so I want to leave this the way it is. Now the next 2 tools, the awl, which I've already started working on, that's going to be coming up in the very next video, and I think I got it almost where I want it. The next tool is going to be, we're going to be turning this one into basically just a full-on cutting tool. So we've already got the cable stripper in there. We're going to be adding a chisel tip front to it. I'm thinking about adding a box cutter edge to it, and my last thought is I'm going to put in a small wire stripper, because the wire stripper on the Surge is very good for doing 14 gauge and bigger, but below that it doesn't do a very good job because the opening is just too wide. So I think I'm going to integrate a small wire stripper into the base of this one that will accommodate 16, 18, and possibly 20 gauge wire to give me a full range of wire stripping capability. Now the last tool that's going to go in here is the one that I have not completely figured out what I want to do. Any number of things I can do. I can reprofile this screwdriver, which I'm going to have to grind on all of these in order to accommodate that 4th tool. I could reprofile it, leave the screwdriver the way it is. I could try to reprofile the micro driver and put it in there as well. The thing of it is, I think I got another idea that I will be able to incorporate the micro driver at a later date. It's going to require some stuff to be built, but I think I can make it work. So I'm leaning towards leaving that tool out. Now one tool that I had thought about making is using another donor screwdriver and kind of coming up with this particular design. And it may or may not work. I was thinking about putting a small cutting hook in here and then reprofiling it to leave the screwdriver tip, basically the same screwdriver up front. The reason I think that this would work well is because I think that would make a pretty good zip tie cutter if I can get it sharp enough. So when it's set, you know, where you would grab it on a plane like that, it'll actually pass by the nail nick, and I think it would make a pretty good zip tie cutter. So I'm kind of leaning towards that direction right now. I haven't completely decided, and I'm completely open to suggestions on if anybody has an idea. But I think I'm going to leave this tip the way it is. I don't think I'm going to change this other than to smooth it down a little bit. Now the next thing that I need is one thing I've always wanted in this tool is a dedicated number 2 driver. So I'm going to be taking an old bit, I'm going to be cutting it down to the size required so that it'll fit into the standard Leatherman bit, and then profiling the notch in there. Now on the other side, what I plan on doing is rounding it into a punch. And the reason I need that, the reason I want that, is because on the job site I use that for taking off sockets off of impact drivers, because we don't use the hog ring style, we use pin style. So I'm constantly kind of looking for a punch in order to get into the hole to hit the release pin for impact sockets. So I think I'm going to profile this one to have that in the tool at all times. That way I don't even have to take the multi-tool out in order to use that punch. I just pull the driver or the extension out of my pouch and I'll have it readily available. So that is another tool that I'm going to be adding to this. Again, the 4th tool is probably going to be a little bit for it. This is taking a long time to get everything profiled correctly. I've actually been working on that all today, and it's taken about 6 hours to get it to where I like it. I think I've got it where I want it though. So it's probably going to be about a week or so before I even get to this fourth tool. So I'm definitely open to anybody's suggestions, but I think I'm kind of leaning towards this thought, this idea. Now, maybe you guys have a suggestion for something that might work a little better. Again, I'm open to suggestions. So I wanted to show you where we're at so far, and I've already started profiling that all, and that is coming up in the very next video. My name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. Appreciate your views, and I'll see you in the next one.